So this morning I talk about our human conditions, why it is so important for us to focus on precious human rebirth and impermanence. The impermanence in particular, it is said that very beneficial for practitioners. It's not that you're thinking about dying. That doesn't make any sense. That in fact it can make you depressed. That's not the point. The point is when you reflect on impermanence, the change of nature, you become a much gentle human being. You become kinder, you become compassionate. Let's think about it. If you know you're going to die tomorrow, you're not going to be angry to anyone. It makes no sense, it's irrelevant. I think that is the point which benefit us, that when we have the notion of impermanence, which is true, whether Longchenpa said, which one you will see first, your life tomorrow or the death? You never know. Tomorrow will never come. Today may be your last day. It could be some kind of accident we can get into, some kind of food, some circumstances could take our life. So therefore, it is beneficial to transform our awareness. That is the whole point of impermanence. The notion of permanence have never helped us. It has never helped with all, in fact, it has been very destructive to us, starting with the ego and the rest of all neuroses, begin by the notion of something real that we invest into, that we think it is, but actually it's not, and that is create the whole samsara. So it's very destructive. So now to dismantle the destructive nature, we need to start with impermanence. So as I said, it's not about just thinking dying all the time, which can lead to depression. That's not the point. If you just think suffering, again, that's not the point. The first noble truth, Buddha said, recognize suffering. Doesn't mean that you should think suffering all the time. That's not the point. You need to, if there's a suffering, then there is a cause to that, to eliminate that cause. That is the point. If there is impermanence, then things are changing all the time by nature, then it shows that there is no need for us to be rigid and tight and become crazy about that. It leads us to craziness. It leads us to destructive force. That is the point. So we need to change our attitude. The attitude will change by having clear awareness. I think that is the point. So I think we need to understand that. For example, the Pope John Paul, in his book, he have written the people of faith and people of without faith. Now, according to the teaching of theistic, I should say, the people of faith is Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Same Abrahamic lineage, isn't it? While Buddhism is not part of Abrahamic lineage, so it was kind of left out of faith by a Pope. That's okay, it's not a problem. Buddhism is not seeking assurance from Pope, so it's no problem. But what Pope said, Buddhism talks about gloominess. That is the problem. Buddhism talks, Pope John Paul, if you read his book, he said that Buddhism talks about, instead of glory, it speaks about suffering. Buddhism is not talking, never, the practice of meditation never said, now you start practice of suffering. Never. But Buddhism speaks about that we need to be realistic. If we have to get rid of our suffering, then we need to address the issue of suffering. That is realistic. That's not something out of context. In fact, that is the context. We all try to be happy, but what's preventing us by the suffering, we better know what suffering is, the causes of suffering, and result of suffering. The causes of suffering being the afflictive emotion, and the result of suffering being the pain that we know, all kinds of suffering. That is what Buddhism is trying to talk about. Four Noble Truth. Not just running away from the context, but actually addressing that, whether you like it or you don't like it, but that's what it is, that if we have to get rid of suffering, we better know this suffering and we better deal with that. That's the only way, not by running away or not by trying to think that something will just be taken care, which will never happen. So that was very disappointing. Pope's John Paul, not this present Pope, but Pope John Paul, in his statement. And there was, after the book came into publication, there were a lot of demonstration in some of the Asian Buddhist countries for Pope. You see, the Pope is just, without knowing Buddhism, speaking about Buddhism. If you want to, it's of course, he's free to say, but whoever is saying, we need to be better understand what we're talking about instead of just fabricating about it. As far as Christianity is concerned, Buddhism never say it is bad. In fact, as I said, even atheists, there are lots of wonderful people among atheists, sometimes better than some religious people. So, sometimes some religious people are very fanatic, and they're everywhere, among Buddhists, among Christians, among, different traditions. They are there. And so the point is for us to understand the Dharma really clearly. If we have to become a better human being and get out of further deeper from the conditional world to unconditioned state of clear light, because clear light is unconditioned, that's what we're trying to discover through our practice of meditation, then we better know the conditioned world very well. The reality of conditioned world we really need to know. Without knowing the, first of all, conditioned world, you cannot comprehend unconditioned world. How can you? If you cannot differentiate between conditioned and unconditioned, how can you go into unconditioned without knowing what is conditioned? In the nature of condition, whether it's permanent or impermanent, whether it's condition means dependent or independent, those we need to study and we need to be unbiased. Whatever, no need to think that my father was Buddhist, therefore I'm Buddhist. That doesn't make any sense. My father was Christian, I'm Christian, doesn't make any sense. You are given with the intellectual, and you need to discover the facts and reality. And for that you need to study. First you hear, then you reflect, then you meditate, then you actually see the result. That's the way. So Buddha said, do not take because I said so. Check it, analyze, and if you think it's true, follow it. If you think it's not true, give up. No need to take because I said so. So logic plays very important role in the teaching of Buddhism. And then there are some very, very subtle things such as subjectively, as earlier I was saying today, to know about the nature of the three kayas, for example, which is very deep in meditation. As I said, science study on objective, not on subjective. Science study on material, not on awareness, mind. Because for mind, how can you study with object, instrument, which science uses on immaterial mind? We can't see the mind. Where is the mind? This shape. If there's a shape, then we can figure it out. We can just pinpoint some laser or whatever which can react. It's immaterial. The only today this science can have some little idea of brain waves, some colors, imaging from brains, to spot how when positive thought spot or negative thought spots or depressing spots or through machines, some image, some energy, but that's pretty much it. But those images cannot really comprehend the feeling of the mind. It's just simple image, but it cannot express the feeling. We can imagine as a person, as subjective has to tell, oh, that is pain, that is suffering. But the image itself cannot produce. Even it can show some images, but it cannot never really tell that's a pain or pleasure. So there's very limitation. Mind cannot be known by instrument. Mind can be known by mind alone. Your deep feeling, your emotion, your thoughts are very personal experience. So, so we have to, if we are talking about getting enlightened, be free of ignorant, then we need to fully utilize this mind, fully bring its intellectual, its capacity, which it does have the capacity, in fact. And that's what Buddhism is talking about. Noble truth of suffering. Buddha was not seeking, assurance, or Buddha was not seeking how many people he have on his side. It doesn't really, it's not the point. Only if you have an ego, you seek how many people you have. When there is no ego, it just expresses the reality, spoken. Therefore, Buddha's fearless proclamation, do not take my word because I said so. That was fearless proclamation. Analyze and check. And if it makes sense, follow it. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it because I said so. That was, of all the different religious traditions, Buddha is the only one who said that. We can all know through history. And that really gives us tremendous right and freedom to actually, that we can check his teaching. And if it doesn't make sense, it's okay. You don't have to follow that. And if it makes sense, then you can see what is there inside. So it gives tremendous joy within us that instead of putting on a path of fear, that if you don't believe in me, you go to hell. That is not the case in Buddhist teaching. So, in fact, you can even make humor and fun about it. I don't recall the whole thing, but there was a very great scholar in Tibet named Ginten Chompel. He was a great scholar. And because Tibet was, during 1950s, early, as much as it was a great spiritual country, but also it was a feudalistic state. It did happen. There was a little bit, the aristocrat rule, and the peasants have a hard time. Education was not available in school. The only place to get education was monastery. So there was some dark side also, like in every place in the world, things happens. Medieval time in Europe, there was also dark time. So then, being that, so Ginten Chompel was a great adept and a great scholar. And one day there was a statue of Buddha. There was a statue of Buddha, and there was two geishas. Geishas are scholars who came and tried to have some discussion, dharma, and debate. And he put a cigarette ashes, but on top of the statue. And the monks, the geishas got so shocked. It's their sacrilege. How can you do that? And then he debate, he talk about the nature of phenomena and impermanence. How can that be? Actually, the two monks have nothing to say. I don't recollect the whole thing, so sorry, I'm sorry. I couldn't really go through, I don't remember the whole thing, but just give a general idea how the unconditioned state, when you speak about the one taste of phenomena. So something like that Buddhism leads you to go transcend that, for example, the last Tuesday we have a discussion on faith and discussion on refuge. And I was saying that faith is very, faith, what is faith? Faith is going to, finally, the faith is not about worshipping and being under the Buddha. That there is a superior being outside of you and you are the inferior being. That's the basic connotation of faith people have. That I'm weaker, I'm smaller, and there is someone superior. In Buddhism, the faith is understanding of unconditioned awareness. And how do you get that? First you study the conditioned phenomena. Now here there's some subtle aspect of our mind are not immediately we can see like they're dormant. For example, like deep compassion mind. Doesn't mean you don't have, but they are there, but they're dormant. Three kayas nature. So there are many states like which are dormant, but you come to know them by having a little bit more confidence in yourself of compassion, relative compassion. First you recognize relative compassion. Then you gradually, like seeing a smoke, there's a fire. And same thing, there are subtle aspects of mind. You begin to have some taste of your potentialities. And that potentialities you get confidence and trust is the faith in yourself. So faith is, here we are not talking about a faith of something to remain as something lower and someone superior. But faith is really finally discovering yourself, having trust in your clear light, in your awareness. That's what faith is leading to. And you begin to see that through inferior logic. You begin to taste something which you have not seen before. Then you get confidence. Then you can actually function there. Then even a state exists that finally you can completely free of all duality. So therefore, there was a story in Tibet. This Lama and the student, a practitioner, great Dzogchen practitioner. So the student went and did 3 years retreat. After 3 years retreat, the student came and told Rinpoche, now I'm so grateful for what you have taught me. I have tremendous faith and devotion to you. And the Lama said, that's fine, but go back and do another 3 years retreat. He went back and did another 3 years retreat. Then he came back, he said, now I have even more faith than before for what you've shown me, because he feel the confidence in him developing. The faith, genuine faith can come when you can trust yourself, when you can know how you can, basically is self-liberation of neurosis. When you get the potential power to liberate all your neurosis, of course you feel very gratitude to that person who show, and because you can now function. That's how. Then, but nevertheless, the Lama said, you go back and do another 3 years retreat. So now 6 years. Then the 9th year he comes. Then now he said, now I've no such that dualistic faith. Now I have no faith. It doesn't mean he becomes stupid or he become like insensitive or anything. His whole duality has like dissolved. There's no such thing as subjective object. That whole ego has been dissolved. Then what is there to play the game? Then the teacher said, good. Now you understood. But of course, this is something very deep nature, very profound nature at that level, what faith means on a very deeper level, total transcendence of duality. But as long as, of course, as a person, that we appreciate things in life, which is wonderful. I'm not saying you should not appreciate, no, you should thank people, or, understand their gratitude. But what finally, the very dualistic thing we hold on to, when we no longer see, when we completely transcend, that is what the ultimate faith is. So there's a yiche petepa, there are three kinds of faith. Faith of conducive environment, faith of desire, and the faith of certainty. The earlier two faiths are still very fluctuation. Faith of conducive environment. For example, our meditation hall here. When we come here and sit, we feel like we're sitting. It's an environment conducive, and you feel quiet and calm when you do your practice or you reflect on yourself. It brings you your positive qualities. It's called the faith of conducive environment. Then the faith of desire. Then once you start seeing, you begin to see yourself, but there's no one to judge. And no one, and within you, you don't judge. You're told in meditation, don't judge yourself. Allow your mind to be free. Don't make it like work you will make a pony to work hard. We use this mind so much, we don't allow any freedom. Now you can just allow the mind and relax. You're not told to aggravate, but relax the mind and bring in that present awareness in relaxed state. And by being relaxed in the present awareness, you begin to see your true nature. So then you feel like tremendous space and relief, because you're always told, either to do something or engage in this, and your mind is also engaging in subconscious gossip all the time. So mind is never relaxed, mind is never at present, mind is never opening. In fact, it's always shut down. So therefore, faith, we appreciate things on the path. Until the ego is not totally dissolved, we would have things to appreciate, and we will think we will also have resentments. But those resentments, negative qualities, we need to shed away by understanding deeper, looking into the nature, so such as impermanence, tremendous benefit, and how to utilize this precious human rebirth by reflecting on precious human rebirth, tremendous benefit. Tremendous benefit by understanding cause and effect. So when we live in the world of cause and effect, we appreciate. We say thank you. There's nothing wrong in that. So just today, Rinpoche said, now total, so when somebody does something, you just remain quiet, look like that. I don't think you will have a good, there will be some problem in communication. So that's not the point. We are talking something very deep in our nature, that finally where we lead to the complete Buddhahood, that we all have enlightened Buddhahood, Buddha nature, which can, and in fact, is present right now. Is not affected. And if you ask how that is possible, then you need to reflect, even you cannot see that or experience that in the experience right now, but you can have a glimpse to that view. And that glimpse comes from the interdependent teaching. So you can see right now everything is interdependent. But however things manifest, however things experience, that is inherent quality is completely free of any real inherent something real. It is free. No matter what we think, it's free. So you can have some idea, like the example of the infrared logic of the smoke shows there is a fire, that there is a state which is really in the midst of our craziness. There is something opening. It's always open. It has been open in the past, it's open in the future, it's open now. Present state of awareness is always there. Because the present state is always open, when we engage in our practice, the basic goodness will shine, because that state is not stained by any conditioned mind. That state is always free of conditioned mind. So therefore, we can achieve enlightenment. Therefore, we can come out of that. We can, because it's always aware, fresh awareness. Now, if that is contaminated, then we cannot get enlightened. The fact that that is always awake, therefore, when we recognize that nature, then we can get enlightened. So therefore, introduction of the nature of the mind, very important in Buddhist teaching, particularly in Nyingma and Kagyu tradition. Mind, study of the mind is the greatest thing that Buddhism has to offer to the world. Make people gentle, make people, respect each other. We are all same being, including animals. Same feelings, same emotions, same qualities, positive qualities. No difference. Just labels. Labels are secondary. In fact, thirdly, not even secondary. But we make so important, whose side you are. Are you this? Are you that? All the isms. All the isms are created by people with ego, in the history. It cannot be created by enlightened beings. Not possible. I think same thing, But sometimes we follow those as identity of who we are, which is okay. You can call yourself Buddhist, you can call yourself whatever you want to, it's okay. But when you get fanatic, then there's the danger. You look down on others, there's the danger. In the Tantric teaching, there are 14 root samayas. To criticize other religion is one of the downfall. You need to look at things in holistic view. I think today we live in a world very interdependent. We really need to get along with everyone, and we need to have a holistic approach to life. And I think that is very healthy, and that's what we need in a holistic approach. For example, I hear His Holiness Dalai Lama says, you cannot mold the whole world into one religion. No one can achieve that. It has never happened in the past, in the billions of years. It will never happen in the present. It will never happen in the future, because people have different thoughts, different emotions, different needs. Just within one religion, as I said, among Christianity, there is so many different schools. Just one thing never work. Catholics don't accept Protestants, Protestants don't. They even fought a war in Ireland for so many years, kill each other. Inquisition, so many things like that. And within Buddhism also there are different schools. Islam have, So peacefully and respect each other and follow one's own path, but with respect and caring and affection. I think it's very important. And then there is and Dalai Lama goes one step further. He says, you need to respect that other tradition, because that other tradition brought a lot of happiness to a lot of beings. Therefore, you need to respect that. And that's true, People who have followed the belief, though the philosophical view of Buddhism doesn't believe in creator, but then there are a lot of people who believe in creator, and the way they work with trying to be a better person is through, if I do this, then the God will be angry, for example. Or God may not be happy. You see, So that notion of faith in the God or Bhagwan, whatever, the notion of faith prevents a person from doing some harm. If that's the case, fine. All right. And slowly, slowly, that he or she will grow up and see something else. You see, not everyone can just get one shot, and one shot is good for everyone. Some need a little less dose, some need stronger dose. In fact, you go, doctors, when they put anesthesia in you, they regulate how much your body can take. If they put a strong dose to a little baby, the baby will be dead. So how much that person can take at that time, I think that's also important. So overall, we need to really understand, respect all tradition. As far as Buddhism is concerned, which is based on not really faith, though there is faith in Buddhism, but particularly on the reality. The reality is based on faith. Buddhist faith is based on reality. Finally, go deeper and deeper. So on that level, all conditioned phenomena is same. Whether you're Christian or Hindu or atheist, doesn't matter. It works same nature to all being. So a Buddhist labeled person creating something good thing, or Christian labeled person doing good thing, underneath the name of Christianity and Buddhism and whatever, that function is the same. The workmanship is the same. The process is the same. Since the process is the same, the result should be the same. That's on the condition level. So karmic world, and even let's not talk Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism. Atheists, same. Atheists will also reach the highest level of samsara by being a kind atheist. No difference. Now when you go to metaphysical level and philosophical level, then you go further deeper to the unconditioned state. Then there are differences going beyond samsara. Then there is difference. As far as samsara is concerned, which is based on interdependent cause and effect, whoever does the cause and effect positively, whether you have religion or no religion, same result. No difference at all, not even 1 cent difference. So even you have the name of religion, you do something bad, it's not good. The atheist will be up and the religious person will be down. Label. So interdependent nature is same. We function in interdependent world. That's the reality, no matter what we like to believe. Evolutionary. The evolutionary versus creationism. Science is evolutionary. Buddhist view is also evolutionary because they're both based on interdependence. Evolutionary is interdependent. Creationism, then philosophically, when you go to philosophically, then the creationism is a problem in proving the reality. Because things function in evolutionary basis. It doesn't function with the will of a God just like that. The process has to go in interdependent. So then there is philosophically deep inside. Therefore, Buddhism doesn't accept creationism. There is no creator. Buddha is not the creator. Who is the creator? Your mind is the creator. As far as Buddhism is concerned, your mind is the creator. This mind can be Buddha, and this mind can be a confused ordinary being. If the mind is ignorant, it'll be confused, trapped in that world. If the mind is enlightened, it can be the Buddha. So mind is the one who decides good, who decides bad, who sees the hell, who sees the heaven, who sees good. Everything is mind. So studying mind, understanding mind, finally realizing the nature of the mind is so important because it's the mind so the buck stops at mind. Buck doesn't stop somewhere else. Buck stops at mind. That's it. importantly, realizing mind makes the whole thing difference. Your world is your mind. Your path is your mind. Your realization is your mind. Your confusion is your mind. Your liberation from the confusion is your mind. It is the mind. There's no other than mind. Your joy is your mind. Your suffering is your mind. What is confused is the mind. What it can overcome, the potential, is in the mind also. So therefore, minds become very important thing. And in order to do that, mind is to look inside. Earlier this morning I was talking, the mind is to look inside, not look outside. The word Buddhism means Nangpa, and the non-Buddhists are called, according to Buddhist philosophy, Chipa, external one and internal one. Buddhism has to look inward to your seeing the nature of the mind, not running out of the distracting mind. If you see there is a creator, then the mind has to look outside. If you see the mind is the one who is doing, then you need to look inside. One is looking outside, one is looking inside. Then now you discover yourself, which will work. We look outside until now, didn't really work. Now it's better time to look inside, to look at the nature of your mind, the origin of the mind. Then there's the study of origin of the mind. Where the mind begin? Where is it now? Where is it going? If there is mind, is it in your house? In this building? Underneath this building? Outside this building? And if there is, what shape it is? What color it is? Who have seen? So that it takes, basically, to study the mind, there are two one is the external environment, and one is the internal subject, basically object and subject, in other words. So study of meditation, in Tibet, certain lamas have the student do, studying the external phenomena, discovering the reality, if there's something exists, where it exists externally, they let them do for 1 year. Some do it for 6 months. 6 months you meditate on external phenomena. Is there any inherent quality in it? And you see the mountains, you see the water, you see the elements, you see the buildings, you see everything outside. You study and you meditate for 6 months. I think it's very good if you can do 6 months or 1 year. Then after that you do the subjective mind. Where is the mind now? How is the mind? Where is it staying? Where is it going? And where is it coming? Coming, existing, and going, called Jung Ne Dosum. In the Nyingma tradition is called Jung, means where it came from, and where it is existing now, and where is it going. It's called Jung Ne Dosum. In the Kagyu tradition is called Negyu Riksum, where it is existing. And Nepa means stillness, Gyua means movement, Rikpa means knowing. So those study of about the mind. And then one would spend, 6 months to a year. Then you will have a clear conclusion, notion, whether it exists or doesn't exist. And then you work with the teacher. You meditate, then you have conversation with your teacher, and then the teacher will check the many levels within that, how to, understanding and realizing the mind. So this is how it's done traditionally. So because everything comes from the mind, finally the answer is within the mind. If there is confusion, the wisdom is even bigger than confusion. In fact, confusion it's like darkness. The sun can shine and illuminate the darkness. Same thing, mind can illuminate all our confusion. That's natural potential of our clear light that we all possess, that we all have inherently. So like that, that's how meditations are done. So earlier, talking about Pope John Paul, Pope's talking about Buddhism talks about gloomy. It's not right. And as I said, you don't just think about suffering. It does no good. It makes you depressed. That's not the point. The point is you see impermanence and it changes your awareness to be, okay, things are impermanent. Why should I be angry to someone? It changes your whole outlook, a better outlook, a kinder outlook, a gentle outlook. That is the point. Not the suffering is the point. So we must understand Dharma clearly. Otherwise, if someone said that, oh, Buddhism is gloomy, oh, you see, yes, he's talking. But when you know that, then you know it's not. Because it helps you. That's the point. You should be understanding. It's not about, what other things. It's about how you understand. That's important. You are important, not what others say about you. But if you have, your clarity, that's what is important. If people say you're crazy, no matter what, that's secondary. If you know yourself, that's the main thing. So therefore, we need to have understanding of the Dharma clearly, then it will help us. It's the only medicine to get out of samsara. So I thought to explain to you about why meditation and understanding the mind is so important. In fact, the Dharma teaches even Hinayana teaching, which is self-liberation and realizing no self, which is good. But still, what is lacking in Hinayana is the great compassion, the very notion, altruistic attitude to benefit all being. That is lacking in Hinayana, and that's what, again, as a Bodhisattva yana practice, one would further get stronger and try to practice that. Then in the Vajrayana practice, seeing that everyone inherently have an enlightened nature, in that way, once you see a pure vision, you no longer see that negative things will not arise. And then when you see the Dzogchen self-liberation, then all thoughts arises, all thoughts are left in their own place without any fabrication and relax in that state, then the present awareness will just simply manifest, which is free of all condition. So then you gain confidence in your practice. That's how you need to do all the different methods. And so it's get deeper and deeper and deeper of your awareness. And you become kinder person, gentler person. From the Hinayana level, Mahayana level, you become more compassionate person. Vajrayana level, you see basic goodness in everyone. On Dzogchen level, you see self-liberation of all thoughts. And so that's how we need to have very clear understanding of the Dharma. And I'm very happy early Brendan came and taught you all meditation. He's a wonderful practitioner, really great practitioner. And he's not been in a monastery to study these things. He just went in Southern California in the desert. He got his wisdom from the desert of Southern California. Of course, he received the teaching from the Lamas, but went and meditated in Southern California. So, I think he spent like 6 hours a day. Long time. So a lot of experience, so very beneficial. And Lama Yunten came and give the teaching on trauma, which is also very, very important and beneficial. Now, overall, not only here the meditation center, but wherever you are, that is like the heaven you need to make. Your home is, we say that when a person go to retreat, their body is like the retreat house, and the consciousness is the retreating. Same thing, if you have that kind of clear awareness, then wherever you are, your home is like a temple. Your home is like that perfect place where you grow, where you develop. And in fact, everywhere, not just your home, wherever you are, your true nature will manifest. Your wisdom will manifest. Your compassion will manifest. And you can bring the change in this turbulent world. So that's how we must practice Dharma. So, something like that. And now let's do meditation. So, in meditation, I would explain a little bit on the mind today. So, it's important to make the right posture of sitting practice. The best is if you can sit in a folded leg. If not, then on a chair, very comfortable, and sit straight, but we should very relaxed, natural, not tight, not anything uncomfortable. So good to wear in your home some pajamas when you do meditation instead of blue jeans or something which can make it tight. So basically point is to be completely relaxed physically and then completely relax mind. And then now, even your chin should not bend down. You should not go up. You should be just straight. And then eyes slightly focus down towards the tip of your nose. And then now, there's a saying, on the zafu is your body, and in the body is your mind, and mind relax. Like drop it. In other words, just drop your mind now. Don't try to hold on to it. Just relax. Relax means drop it. And you're here and now on the Sabu, present here. So now when you look at the mind, of course there are many methods of meditation. When you look at the mind, from the shamatha level, on the shamatha level you will see the mind, the thinking process. That's what the mind is. One who thinks of all kinds of things. There's no end, no limit what would the mind will think and what would the mind will not think. Anything, all kinds of things. That's what arising mind is. That's what the mind. So now when you sit and you drop it, you drop your mind, there's a sense of space. There's a sense of opening. There's a sense of relaxation. And then when you remain in that, of course it will not remain all the time. Suddenly a thought will come. Now what you need to do in meditation practice, when the thought comes, you simply recognize the thought as a thought. No judgment. This is good, this is bad, what I should do with this. Then you disturb the mind if you do that. You're not going to get into opening. You're not going into peace. You're not going to get into calm state. It will in fact create aggravation, which is our normal way of behavior in relating with our thoughts, engaging with our thoughts. So you see, of course you see thoughts arising, but you just say, okay, yeah, thinking arise. And then that's good enough. Actually, just touch is good enough. If you try to make anything more than touch, then it will get aggravated, you see, in meditation. You have to find, balance in meditation. Buddha Shakyamuni's, I think, nephew, Buddha taught him doing meditation, and he was a great pianist, but he couldn't really get to the right spot, balance of meditation. Either he will do it too tightly, or it'll be too loose. Then Buddha asked him, how do you play your violin? With a very tight string or very loose string? He said, if you're too tight, then the sound will not be good. If it's too loose, no sound will come. Just the right balance, not too tight, not too loose. Then Buddha said, you meditate also like that. You focus, but relax. So in other words, when thought arises, you just simply touch, realize, that's it. Don't go further. If you go try to further, now how much I should let go, how much I should do, then it will create you're making your mind murky, you're churning up. So, many traditional example is given. How do you clear the water on the beach? If you stir it up, it will get more muddy. But if you leave it, it will just settle down and the clear water will shine. And then you can see all the fish and pebbles and everything clearly on a clear water. Same thing your mind. If you leave the mind as it is, it will purify all the stains and obscurations and defilements and afflictive emotion. It will clean by itself. It's just the natural potent in itself to do that. But if you try to make things up, then it's get all murky. Then confusion, then aggravation, then the mind get lost in past, future thoughts like that, and we create karma, and as a result, suffering comes. So you sit, you just see that, that's it, and just again, let it be. You see, we have this always instant gratification. We want instant gratification. We want instant result. And even when we're sitting now, we just couldn't sit. We just, okay, now I let go. I should have the result. I should feel great. I should be in the sixth realm, or like the great sixth consciousness, or whatever the seven sense I should get. I should be like flying in the sky or whatever. That's not going to happen because you're again blocking it by obscuring, like churning the sand furthermore. Rather, you drop it. Just be. Don't make your mind work like a horse, or donkey, or whatever. People in some countries, I've seen in Greece also, they have donkeys and have the donkey carry this, and in Tibet also, in a number of places. I'm sure here also in New Mexico or some places, there must be something like that. And then you make your mind work like a donkey, and of course the mind is going to just cry and revolt. Revolution begins from things like that. So just allow it. Don't expect, just be present. Just let it be. And then just, good. Those who are doing Dzogchen meditation, just let you know, in your home, you don't need to do breathing meditation. Those who are doing Dzogchen meditation. Because then again, those who are not doing Dzogchen meditation, you need some kind of reference to work with. Therefore, the breathing becomes a reference, so your mind is not distracted, that your mind can focus to a reference point which makes it calm and clear. But those who are doing Dzogchen, you can just simply, the three gazing, Dharmakaya gazing, Sambhogakaya gazing, and Nirmanakaya gazing, there is. Dharmakaya gazing, you look up in the sky like that. Sambhogakaya gazing, you look straight. Nirmanakaya gazing, you look down. Those are three gazing in the Dzogchen tradition. But whatever you're learning from the shamatha meditation state, allowing the mind, being in the present, just simply open, not expecting anything, it will lead you to gradually to Dzogchen state. But you may be thinking you're doing Dzogchen, but you're trying to make it this way and that way, and nothing will happen. So therefore you need to know how to meditate. So let's say today we start with breathing meditation. But inside you must, when the thought arises, just touch and go. Touch and leave it, not go. I wouldn't say even go. Touch and drop it. That's it. No demand is put the mind. Just relax. No need to look for a thought. And if the thought comes, no need to suppress that also. Just see that as a thought and leave it. Okay? So let's do it that way. In case if there's lots of thought arising, allow that also. Don't try to suppress that. And just simply watch. And don't run after that. Just watch it. If you cannot stop thoughts, sometimes thoughts will come like rushing water. Too many thoughts. And if you try to go against the current, then again you get trapped and you get distracted. So don't fight with the thoughts. And then just simply watch and let go. Relax. Relax in the present state. Watch the thoughts, but you can still relax. When you drop it, when you drop trying to control your thoughts, then naturally there will be sense of relaxation, sense of freeing. Well, go back to the breathing. Be with the breath. Be in the present state, in a relaxed state, present state. We need diligence in meditation. Whoever have diligence will achieve the result. Who don't have perseverance, then it will be difficult to achieve result. Because we are so used to this distracting mind, going to be in stillness, it will take time to get to the point of stillness. First one is to achieve stillness. That's why it's called calm, abiding mind. It abides in a calm mind through the practice of shamatha. And once this busy mind, this like boiling mind, is settled down, then the mind is clear, and then you will experience the peace. But it's not going to happen just like doing once in a while and not once in a while. You need, like you eat 3 meals a day, you need to have your practice of meditation also continuously every day, and then you will gain confidence, you will gain experience. Now there are certain faults in practice of meditation that needs to be known. One is too much excitement, thoughts coming, and one is dullness. If you have dullness and you do meditation, you can do for the next 1,000 years, nothing will happen. In fact, it will make your mind more stupid if you have dullness. That's like you're sitting and getting into some kind of absorption state, like you don't know what's happening. It's like stupidity. That's not the mind you want to get into. Now what you do, you will go through that state also. When that happens, you can do like this. Move your shoulder a little bit, and then gaze on the left, gaze on the right. It will clear. You can experience. Or you can just simply gaze, like put your eyes left and right, and it will clear away. You need to clear the dullness, because that's not you want to get into the state. Or you can open the window, or sometimes you can weaken, you can go to the top of the mountain somewhere and sit on a nice, comfortable place, and then put your back to the sun. You should not look in the sun, because if you look in the sun rays will not be conducive. Only in practice of third meditation one looks. There are certain ways, but not during shamatha meditation. So you want to put your back towards the sun, and then you look in the horizon. Big sky sometime. Autumn is very good to meditate, like on a high mountain, when it's blue sky. And then you sit there. Don't penetrate far away. Everything should be completely relaxed. And just sometimes, you can also do like this. You can mingle your mind with the space. Just you and space, like oneness, and say it like that. It will make your mind very open, big spacious mind. You can also do that. That's one meditation. It's like preliminary dzogchen meditation. You mingle your mind with the space, and then you sit there, completely relaxed, being in the present, and just relax in the present. Same method, but you mingle the mind. So perseverance is very important. Tsundu, Tibetan called Tsundu. Whoever have perseverance will get realization. Whoever do not have perseverance, you will not have any achievement. You do for 1 day, then you drop it for 5 days. And then you do for 1 day, not much result will come. Every day, at the same time, once you do it every day, then during the daytime also, you can have a glimpse when you suddenly get like a rush of some emotion or anger. You just allow that and relax in the present. You don't have to do anything, in fact. It's not hard. It's not really like carrying a burden or anything. Just watch it, just relax in the present. And don't make anything out of it. It's like then the ocean. Waves come from the ocean. It has no other place than to dissolve in the back into the ocean. Likewise, thought will liberate by itself. Milarepa was asked, by this lady. She said, it's wonderful to meditate on the mountain. It's very poetic, but it's hard to meditate on the plants. How to do? And then she said, it's wonderful to meditate on the ocean, but hard to meditate with the waves. What to do? Then she said, it's wonderful to meditate with the space, but hard to meditate with the cloud. What to do? Milarepa said, so the answer to the mountain, Milarepa said, don't follow the plants, just be with the mountain. Don't follow the waves, just be with the ocean. There is even better in the Tibetan word, which I couldn't translate right now. No need to go after the clouds, but just be in the space. No need to go after the plants, just be in the mountain. No need to go after the waves, just be the ocean itself. So be the ocean itself, be the mountain itself, be the space itself. Because the cloud is, cloud is manifestation of the space. The waves are manifestation of the ocean. Plants are manifestation of the mountain. You don't have to go after the plants, just be the mountain itself and relax, be in the present. So in other words, thoughts are coming out of our mind space. When you allow the thoughts be natural, they dissolve into its own fundamental space. And so they get self-liberated. And you don't have to do anything. As I said, you don't just see and let it drop it there. You don't have to make up anything. We have the habit of making something all the time. We want instant like bliss, instant opening, instant freedom. But that very notion blocks it. So you're learning your mind now. When you learn your mind, when you meditate, you got to follow the exact way of meditation from the past masters. From thousands of years, they pass this experience to the student. This is how you do meditation. And you need to follow that method. And then you can see, gain experience, direct experience in yourself. So perseverance, very, very important in meditation. Every day, morning time, afternoon, then even before you go to bed, again relax, and then just be in the present state. Present means relax. Present doesn't mean holding on to things. Just relax. Allow the thought. Just sit and then once you keep doing it, at some point you will gain stability in that calm, abiding state. Then it have huge difference in your day-to-day life situation. Same situation before you could not handle, now it's much easier. It's more open, more gentle, more liberating. So tremendous benefit through the practice of meditation. Only then when you find stillness through your perseverance, then you can see balance in your health, in your mental health, physical health, all levels of health. So perseverance, very important. Some people do for 1 or 2 days, then they don't do follow. That's no good. It will not give you any result. And that's the story of the race of turtle and the hare. The hare would just run so fast and look back and see the turtle way behind, and the hare sleeps. And finally, he did it 2, 3 times, and then hare for sleep, and the turtle slowly reached the destination. So the race was won by that's the perseverance. While same people very intelligent, very sharp, but then lazy, you don't achieve at the end. Between laziness and perseverance, perseverance will be victorious on the long run. And His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche told me a few the race of the turtle and the, which is common, actually common legend in the about the turtle and the hare. So basically, whoever has perseverance, diligent, will succeed the Dharma. you don't have diligence, you just do it one day, 2 day, drop it, you will not see any result. So you must do that every day. Then you can find beneficial to yourself. You'll be transformed. That's very important, perseverance all the time. You need perseverance in everything. Even to worldly achievement, you need perseverance. Talk about something so deep to find liberation, you need perseverance, patience, compassion, mindfulness, all these things. And at some point, once once your mind is really transformed, then you don't need to find mindfulness. That awareness itself is called, there is a word for the mindfulness. There's an ordinary mindfulness or conventional mindfulness and unconventional mindfulness. Unconventional mindfulness can sustain itself. That's the nature of that. Conventional mindfulness you need when thought arises, how to deal with it. But when you find liberation, then you don't need that thought brought as a conventional mindfulness, because there's no duality at that time. Itself can sustain itself. So, in order to, we need to work on step by step by step. And so practice of meditation. I would request all of you, please do meditation. Do Tonglen practice, taking and sending. And your life will be beautiful because you have enlightened nature. You need to bring that out, not leave it dormant. It will just remain dormant. It can remain dormant for the next billion years. I tell you that. It will never show up if you don't wake that up. You will just living in this ordinary mindset of duality, conflict of nature, no confidence, neurosis and aggression will be the main player, and the suffering will be endless. And right now, you're a human being. Think about, you can't all the time. One day you will die. And we all know for sure we will die. No one has doubt about that. So then when you die, what will be the next? You will take you will take another form. And then think about if you don't have this human, if you're born as a bug, the amount of suffering, unimaginable. Even we have a lot of suffering being a human. Not being a human is even inconceivable. And there's no guarantee that due to our own different karmas, if it's bad karma, one could go to lower realm. If it's good karma, one can be higher rebirths. But it's not, even higher rebirths is decay, impermanence. We get old age, sickness, death, constant change. We need to get out of this conditioned phenomena at the end. That's where we need to aim. Our aim should be liberation finally from this cycle, because you cannot trust this cycle. No matter what state you are, higher falls down. No one can be president forever. We've seen President Obama come and go, and now we have another president. Kings comes and go, emperors comes and go. No one can remain. That's the nature of phenomena. And then you take a different shape based on your karma. And you cannot rely forever living in this state. So do Dharma. Read, study Dharma. Reflect Dharma. There's a saying in Tibetan proverb, be kind to yourself. Make things which will benefit you. Don't do which can destroy you, which can harm you. You are your mind. Relative Lama, the Lama who give you teaching. Ultimate Lama is yourself. Your own mind will be the guide. For that, how can you be guidance if you don't meditate, if you don't discover yourself, if you don't build up positive qualities? How can you be? You cannot. You will be doing a lot of wrong things. So therefore, practice Dharma. Be kind. Do as much as possible you can help people. Directly, indirectly. So we need that, you know, and never be puritanical. Have open mind. Puritanical has no place actually in basic sanity. Basic goodness is no place for puritanical. Puritanical is the same ego religion. I'm superior. Like Buddha said, those monks or nuns who thinks that, oh, she's a laywoman, I'm a nun. He is a layman, I'm a monk. That mindset is not the right thing. That mindset is neurotic mindset. A monk who is celibate, who has 250 vows, whatever, and to have the superior thinking and look down on others, not good. That's not Dharma. So we need to practice Dharma in the right way. That's all I want to say. And I'm so happy seeing all of you. Thank you. And question and answer. We can have few question and answer here, if you have any questions.
Rinpoche, you said that sometimes we think we're practicing Mahamudra, but we're actually practicing Shamatha. I wonder if you would say a little bit more about that.
You need to gain, well, let me use that word. You need to gain realization in shamatha, stillness, first of all. When you don't have any stillness, how can you practice Mahamudra? If your mind is constantly, distracted, what kind of Mahamudra that will be? So therefore, in Mahamudra, first you need to have the practice of shamatha, stillness. And then once you have the stillness, as I said, once the water is calm and clear, then you can see the pebbles and rocks and fish and everything. Then the insight, vipassana. After shamatha comes vipassana, insight, extraordinary insight, in fact. Extraordinary insight. What is extraordinary? To see I can use in a simple word, to see the nature of the mind. In other words, to find, this could be sometimes tricky. Word can be very tricky, okay? So just be careful. To find there is nothing to find is supreme finding. Now don't get into negation. That's what I'm trying to warn you. When we say, okay, now I better give up. That's not the point, because the nature of all phenomena is emptiness, transcendent quality, inherent transcendent quality. So anything we try to mold, we try to bring eternalistic view, we try to mold it as permanent, there's no such thing as that. Therefore, to find where there's nothing to find, to discover there's nothing to find, is the supreme finding. And that's like transcending unconditional state. And that is nature of three kayas now. Now, if I elaborate that, to find nothing to find is supreme finding, consists of clear light, where there is the three kayas in the Dzogchen and Mahamudra. The nature of the mind is, Ngo Tongpa, in essence is emptiness. Rangshin Selva, its nature is clarity. Tukje Kunkyap, its compassion is all pervading. That nature. But that nature is unconditioned state. So when we say to find there's nothing to find is supreme finding, well, there's nothing to do. It's not as simple as that. It's very profound, that meaning. But, so we are learning on the shamatha level, as I said, just see your thoughts and then just drop it and just be relaxed in the presence. That is not just simply shamatha, that is also Mahamudra's view. When I say relax, sit and relax in the presence. Relax in the presence. And relax in the presence without making anything up, being completely uncontrived state. Then gradually you keep doing that, you keep doing that. You may fail this time, or you may not fail. You keep doing. At some point, it's like that water, it will clear itself. It has the potential to clear itself. You don't have to shake it up to clear. It will clear itself. And then you gain confidence. Then you have a taste how you can liberate your thoughts, how you can liberate your, all kinds of arising thinking. Then you gain confidence. You are free. Then, deep sense of, understanding of the nature of the mind arises. And not just that freedom, but then comes the potential, the energy, which is usually aggravated. Now energy become the five wisdom quality, for example, on a deeper level. So now you can't discover five wisdom nature by thinking, how do I make five wisdom nature? The way to discover five wisdom nature is just remain in that, relax in the presence, Allow it, just let it be. Just allow it. It will come by itself. And so now then doing Mahamudra, Guru devotion is important. Unlike Shamatha, there's something extraordinary about bhakti. I think in Hinduism they call bhakti, devotion. Now that devotion is, you create that devotion at the beginning. Such as, when you do Dzogchen practice or Mahamudra practice, you visualize, the Buddhas, particularly your Lama, in fact, at that time, who introduced you the nature of the mind, into the form of Padmasambhava, or some divinity form. Because when you see your Lama as a human body, then there's all kinds of conceptual, oh, this is that, you may like something about your Lama or something not about your Lama. So lots of emotions get, come with that. If you see the Lama into the form of deity or like Padmasambhava, then, you dissolve. It is said that if you have 100% devotion, then there's no need to meditate the Lama as a deity. But if you have certain, sometimes due to each person's emotion, certain reservations, something, then you think of Lama in the Padmasambhava in this case, let's say, or Vajradhara, whatever, and inseparable, and then with, the Lama, even your parents who have raised you, they themselves not know the enlightened mind. They couldn't show you the way to liberation, how to liberate your thoughts, neurosis, aggression, all the afflicting emotion. It's the Lama who's shown you, so therefore you pray to the Lama, so that you realize the nature of the mind. And then compassion to all the beings, those who, every being is enlightened mind, but is dormant. So when I get enlightened, I can show them the way to find liberation. So you pray to the Lama. The Lama dissolve into light, dissolve into you. You also dissolve into light, your mind. And like water pour on another water, you cannot separate which is which water, like oneness. Then you dissolve. Then no devotion practice. Before, it's like a slightly fabricated practice at the beginning. Once it's dissolved, then you just let it go. Uncontrived, natural, no contrive. Then whatever thought arises, then you just remain. Something very powerful about this. You can experience through your own experience, not by word. You do a meditation with devotion, first devotion, dissolve the thing. There's something warm, something extraordinary experience will arise. You do just meditation without devotion, it's like one is more like dry, one is more like juicy. That's, you can experience. So that's what in the Vajrayana Dzogchen tradition, at the beginning you take the just 4 empowerments. If not, just simply, it's called the one tepa karpu chiktup, the Tibetan word. Karpu means white. The devotion of white means no stain. You dissolve the Lama, you dissolve into your mind, you also dissolve, you just become natural. And then oneness. And then you remain in that. Something extraordinary experience arises. Warmth, clear light. Versus you just go and sit like that. Maybe, but sometimes difficult. So it is said in the Tantric tradition, to gain clear light, wisdom of clear light, without devotion is stupidity. Any other method is stupidity. Yes, you can get some calm abiding state, but to get the awakening of the clear light comes from that. That's why the lineage blessing is so important. The Lama represents the lineage. That's where the dissolution. This is the part of the Dzogchen, So at the beginning you do that, but then afterwards you don't do that. So therefore, experience of stillness in shamatha is very important in order to see the inside. If the water is disturbed, then how can you see everything in the water? Not possible. If the water is calm and clear, you can see everything in the water. Same thing, you cannot see the qualities of your mind with a muddy water, muddy mind. You can see the qualities of your mind with a clear mind. So for that, first shamatha meditation becomes so important. Then you will see what it meant by extraordinary insight, which is Mahamudra. So there is difference. Now, for example, you can have the experience of emptiness. For example, we would say that's insight meditation, Vipassana, Mahamudra, which is empty and very vast. But then there is subtle clinging to that empty. You cannot even tell that for a while. And would that be Mahamudra? No, that's not Mahamudra. That is a higher state of samsaric mind. But it's just because emptiness is the antidote for neurosis. So that empty is kind of like, you're so used to that now things are very calm. So there's a very subtle attachment to that. Once you get rid of that, there is a very subtle, that's why, one is to meditate, and that's why one is to consult with the Lama time to time. There's some minds are very, very subtle. The subtle attachment, how it can come. And you may say, I'm enlightened. But there's still subtleties there. So anyway, the way to work is, to overcome all those methods, is being uncontrived. Taking the 4 empowerments with devotion, and then remaining uncontrived, relaxing in the presence without judging, and then you gain confidence, then you will see. So there are many methods. Those has to come from experience. Very hard to say by words. Yeah.
Rinpoche, can you say something about meditating with eyes open versus eyes closed?
When you do Dzogchen meditation, and I believe the same in Mahamudra, your eyes should be open because you are trying to be fully awake. Closing eyes is absorption. Mahamudra and Dzogchen is not absorption, it's awakening mind. So when you close your eyes, you are trying to disengage yourself from the six senses, the phenomena of six senses that we naturally come in contact. In the eye is the form, in the ear is the sound, in the nose is the smell, in the mouth is the taste, in the body is the sensation. We're coming into six senses contact. So basically you are trying to find yourself more protected place when you close your eyes, so you don't have to engage, so less distraction, shut the whole thing down. So that's not Mahamudra. It could be all right for someone at the beginning level sometimes, but if you can't rely on that, because you need to be fearless, the state of openness is fearless, and only that openness has the quality for liberation. When we talk about liberation doesn't mean that you leave some pockets as a reserve and that then 95% is liberated, 5% is somewhere there. That's not liberation. It has to be one or nothing. So therefore, in Dzogchen meditation, beside there are many qualities of the eye, many intuitive powers and foreknowledge come from the eye, opening of the eye. These are in the higher Dzogchen meditation, which is not said in the lower Shamatha meditation, doesn't explain anything about that. Because Shamatha is calm abiding, is not enlightened mind, is a stillness. So therefore, some people close their eyes, you one-pointedly you focus. And it can help. But even in Shamatha, gradually at some point, then person has to step out from that secure sort of place and come out and then face the phenomena. Then because the phenomena actually is innocent, phenomena is not harming us. It's our mind which is, projecting and reacting to that. To the point the great Indian master Tilopa told his son Naropa, "O son, you will not be caught by appearance, but you will be caught by clinging to that." Appearance phenomena is innocent. Sound is innocent. Appearance is innocent. Smell is innocent. Taste is innocent. They're not doing any harm to you. Your mind, how you relate to that, is engaging in the wrong way, is harming you. So therefore, in meditation, you are trying to find liberation of six senses. Not trying to hide anywhere, just being fearless, open. Fearless doesn't mean that you need to bring aggression here, but the state is unconditioned state. And then you just being in the state is fully awake. And then many qualities, according, for example, intuitive qualities, foreknowledge qualities, eye has tremendous power. By opening the eyes, meditating, one can develop many of those qualities on the higher level teaching of the Dzogchen, it explained. So I usually suggest people, unless some people may need that, closing the eyes when doing meditation, but it's better not to close the eyes, because even, then you learn. You got to face that. Even you feel afraid, sometimes you got to face it, and then you can find liberation. If you never try, how can you ever know? So that's the difference. Okay, so then let's do world peace prayer. In the world in general, and in this nation, may not even their names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. In the world in general, and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. In the world in general, and in this nation, May not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtues, qualities, and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime will perfectly arise. By this merit, may all beings gain omniscience, thus defeat the neurosis. Yeah. Now, dedication becomes very important. Whenever you do anything good, let's say you go and work at the Salvation Army, you, you devote your time for charities. After anything good, you need to dedicate the merit for the enlightenment and happiness of all being, without exception, all being. And then what happens if you do not dedicate? Then let's say you do something good, and suddenly you have a rage of anger due to something. It can destroy all the merit. Particularly anger is so powerful in destroying merit. It says you get angry to an ordinary person, it can destroy the merit of 100 eons, for example. So before that's become destroyed, you dedicate, and it's good to dedicate the Bodhisattva Manjushri dedication. If you don't know anything, where the Bodhisattva Manjushri has dedicated for the enlightenment, because right now even we have an enlightened mind, we didn't realize that. We can have a glimpse of it, and it's so vast. Bodhisattva aspiration is so vast. So likewise, the way Bodhisattva Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara, way they've dedicated for the enlightenment of all being, I also dedicate this merit, whatever that is. Likewise, Bodhisattva Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara make aspiration to benefit being. I also make aspiration for the benefit, make aspiration likewise. In that way, that merit gets sealed like a drop of water goes in the ocean. Until the ocean dries up, the water will not dry, that drop, the water. Likewise, your merit will become infinite. Otherwise, a rush of some negative thought can destroy that. Or you will gain like one-time result. It says many of the merit is like, they say banana, I'm not sure, banana tree. Banana tree gives one-time fruit, then it doesn't give. Is it true? Something like that. So the example is used in the tradition that if you do not dedicate, no matter how big the merit or whatever it is, then it will give the result one time, conditioned result, whether it can translate into wealth, it can translate into fame, it can translate into power. Then after it can exhaust. But the dedication made for the enlightenment is sealed in the unconditioned state. Until this ocean doesn't get empty, the drop of water goes into the ocean, will not dry. Likewise, so dedication becomes very important. So dedication is extremely important to maintain our merit, what we do. Whether you do practice, whether you hear Dharma, whether you go and help someone, extremely important, dedication always. And then you are not, and then you have, right now, even when we do something, we can only do good for one or two people, or some people. But we cannot imagine thinking of dedicating for enlightenment of all being, and making yourself manifest like infinitely through your body, speech, and mind towards aspiring to benefit all being. Like for example, Bodhisattva mind is like the earth, he says. On the earth is so strong, and the Bodhisattva has a skill how to do benefit that. Earth will never complain. For example, houses are built, roads are there, trucks goes, mountains are there, oceans are there, but earth is always there, never complain. That kind of mind, you made aspiration in my lifetimes to lifetime. May I never able to harm any being. Even a negative thought arises, may they never mature. You need to make those aspirations because it's the mind which shapes everything. It will happen because everything happens from the mind. Destructive force also came from that. For example, power. Where does power come? Power of Hitler, power of Stalin. Where did that came? Power comes from a merit. They did some strong merit, but the aspiration was very negative, like something, may I do something bad. So with the merit and the negative comes together, you become some kind of demonic force. Powerful demonic force. The power, all kinds of power and wealth and these are some merit tinted with negativities, and then later it manifests into that. There has to be a cause to the power that you rule people. Hitler ruled Germany. He ruled Poland. He ruled number of countries, not for a long time, but he ruled for some time. Where did he got that power? To dominate, to suppress. And then with the negativity, he was able to bring tremendous inflict and harm and suffering to so many people. So that's how the danger of, if you do not dedicate your merit in the right way, you think something negative, doing something good, will happen like that to us. So dedication making in the positive way is extremely important. Things happen due to our mind manifestation. That's how things happen. So that's why we do dedication at the end, world peace prayer. And then we make aspiration that everyone can overcome defeat the neurosis, which is the main enemy, our aggression, our all negative thoughts. Then once we have defeated that, then they will be across the ocean. It will cross the ocean of suffering only through that. And we dedicate that every being achieve that. It will happen because wherever you go at some time you will become that. And then everyone will feel the energy, the compassionate energy, the wisdom energy. Everyone will feel that. And it will happen over their lifetimes until you get enlightened. Some may get enlightened in short span time, depending on their efforts. Some may get enlightened maybe after 20,000 years or 100,000 years. So you want to make aspiration until you completely become totally basic goodness, so enlightened. May every inch of your path and your actions and your thought always able to sustain in that positive level. And it will happen. For example, Buddha Shakyamuni achieved 3 endless years of merit. So we also need to make aspiration. Never we will fall down from the path of Bodhisattva Yana. Always hold, a heart, and the skill, how it can deal with that is different karma. Therefore, activity, peaceful, wrathful, magnetizing, increasing, but all with the essence of bodhicitta. So this is very important. Thank you.